Yeti here. I'm along with Stanek Bros, and this is Sports Express. We are doing the NFL playoff bracket this week, and go ahead, explain what
Uh,
we're doing.
Sports Express is a new series me and Cody are going to do weekly or every 2 weeks. Just talk about different sports topics from any sports, from NFL to NBA to soccer, baseball, whatever you guys pretty much want. We'll just talk about new topics, big stuff, big trades, anything. Like right now today, we're going to be talking about the NFL playoff predictions.
Yeah, and so as you can see on screen, we have the entire bracket that I made myself, and we have the bracket, we have the wild card standings, we have the divisional standings, number one seed, number two seed, all the way to six. And we're just going to start talking about it. And why don't you start us off with the wild card for the NFC?
Okay, so first matchup, New York Giants facing Atlanta Falcons. This game, I'm going to say the New York Giants going to beat the Atlanta Falcons. The Eli Manning, he's a veteran quarterback. He's been in the playoffs. He's been to the Super Bowl. He knows everything about the playoffs. And the Falcons are pretty much a young team. Don't have that great of D. And just the offense of the Giants are just too good to face up with the defense of the Falcons. I don't think Matt Ryan will have enough offensive pressure to beat the Giants defense. So I gotta pick the Giants for first matchup. And next game we have the Saints versus the Lions. Lions do not have a good defense at all, and New Orleans Saints just have too much of a beast offense with Drew Brees at the quarterback to just even make this game a close game. The Lions do have a good offense, but the Saints D is too good, and Drew Brees is riding high on that passing yard record. So I gotta pick the Saints for this one.
All right, and now my predictions here. We have the Giants and the Falcons. I'm gonna have to agree with Stanek over there. I do think the Giants are gonna win. Eli Manning is a very seasoned quarterback. He's been to the Super Bowl, won himself a ring. He and his wide receiver Cruz just set a new record for the Giants passing yardage. Matt Ryan, young quarterback. Julio Jones, young receiver for the Falcons. It's a pretty overall just a younger team. I mean, they do have Tony Gonzalez, which is their veteran tight end, but I don't think anything's going to happen for the Falcons. I think the Giants are going to win. Maybe not by a lot, but I feel like they're going to pull it off. And so we're going to the Saints and the Lions now. I don't want to be rude, but the Lions have no chance. The Lions defense just can't stand up to Drew Brees and his receivers. He set the new yard record, like Stanek said earlier, and they're just riding high on that team morale from winning those, from breaking those records and just winning overall. Just there, and the Saints play on both sides of the field. The Saints defense is great as well as their offense. The Lions, they have Stafford in there. He's a good quarterback, but I don't think he'll be able to pull it off. I think overall their team will just they'll stand a good chance for the first to maybe two quarters, and then they'll just crumble when it counts. And I think the Saints are just going to pull it off, probably by a good differential there. They're going to win by a lot, and yeah.
Alright, so let's go up to the AFC. Denver Broncos versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Denver, number 14, won the division at 8-8. That's kind of surprising. Tebow magic was happening in the middle of the season, but the last, I think, 3 games, he just was nothing. They lost 3 straight. Pittsburgh was 12-4. Ben Roethlisberger's just a beast quarterback. Their offense is just awesome. I think they are one of the best point differentials from offense and defense in the league. Denver, I don't think you have anything. Tim Tebow could just run around, but he's not doing that good. There's no more magic in him left, I don't think. I think it's just going to be an easy victory for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the Texans versus Bengals. Texans with the quarterback Yates, and Bengals. Bengals have one of the best special teams in the league. A young team, but Texans from last place to third place, that's just amazing. I gotta give it to the Texans. I don't see an upset in this game anytime soon. It might be a close game, really close game, I think, but I just gotta pick the Houston Texans over the Bengals.
All right. I'm going about the same with the Broncos and Steelers thing. The Broncos, they do have the quote unquote star quarterback that Tim Tebow was. He had some magic going for him in the middle of the regular season. Everybody was riding high on his morale and everything, and just everything was going good for the Broncos. And now they're starting to come to the realization that Tim Tebow isn't the greatest quarterback. They may have led him to maybe 6-1 during the season when he was under center. but I just think the Steelers they're too seasoned. Again, like Eli Manning in New York, they do have Ben Roethlisberger, who's been to the Super Bowl, won a ring, and I mean there's just, in my opinion, no competition. The Broncos, they might have a chance. They might have a little bit of some sort of like comeback or something like that. They might hold their own for a little bit, but then the Steelers, they're just gonna run them right over. The defense with Troy Polamalu and their offense with Ben Roethlisberger, they're just gonna beat the Broncos in good fashion. And moving down to the Texans and Bengals, I feel like the Bengals are a really young team. They haven't done anything great. They've been playing good, but not as well as some would like to see. And then the Texans have a third string quarterback in under center. He's been doing pretty good, but I'm gonna have to go with the upset. I'm gonna have to say the Bengals are gonna win this one. Maybe not by a lot. It's gonna be a tight game. When they played in the regular season, the Texans only won by 1 point. It's gonna be a real tight game, but I feel like the Bengals will overcome the Texans and move on to the next round.
Good picks. Do you want to start off the divisional?
Sure. So in the divisional, Stanek and I both picked that the Giants were going to move on. So it's going to be Giants and Packers. Packers, of course, everybody knows they were great. They went undefeated for so long and then finally lost a game. But then we also have the Giants. The Giants, like I said earlier, they're a very seasoned team. They've been to the Super Bowl. They've won a ring against the Patriots. I mean, they're both very good teams. The Giants' running game is good, as well as the Packers' offensive receiving game is really good. So it's going to be a really tight matchup. It's going to be really close. There's not going to be any crazy scores, or if there is, the scores are going to be very close. It's going to be touchdown after touchdown, or it's going to be one or two touchdowns wins the game. But I'm liking the upset. I'm going to have to go Giants. Giants are going to overtake the Packers. Aaron Rodgers, not sure if he's going to be able to do it again. Giants aren't going to let Aaron Rodgers wear the belt one more year. They're going to take him over, and they're going to move on. And then Stanek and I, again, we both picked the Saints to move on, so it's the Saints and the 49ers. 49ers have been doing really good this year, but they have a young quarterback in Alex Smith, and they have a good receiver in Crabtree. So the Saints and 49ers is going to be, again, a really good game, even though the Saints are a little bit more seasoned of a team. The Saints went to the Super Bowl a few years back. They know what's coming, and I feel like they're gonna triumph over the 49ers. The Saints are gonna move on, and it's gonna be not a blowout, but it's gonna be by at least 2 or 3 touchdowns.
All right. So I picked, like Cody said, I picked the Giants and the Packers. I gotta pick the Packers in this one. The Packers' offense is so good, and the Giants they give up a lot of points in games, and the Packers' defense not that good sometimes. They're unreliable. But their offense is always reliable. If they have a bad defense, their offense always picks them up. I think that happened like 3 straight games right now. Their offense is just so amazing. I don't think Eli could beat Aaron Rodgers right now. So I gotta pick the Green Bay Packers in this one. And the 49ers versus the Saints. Frank Gore, the running back, is a really good running back. The rushing game could narrow this game down to really close, but the offense of Drew Brees, he has so many options. He throws to 7 or 8 different receivers every single game. The most passing yards, like I said before, in a single season ever. I don't think the 49ers defense could beat them. The defense is one of the best. I think number 2 in the whole NFL league. But can you really stop an offense like the Saints? They have a good rushing game. I think they're top 10 rusher in the rushing game. Their offense is complete. Like a full offense. You can't beat their offense. I think the best offense over last championship. They have a better team right now, like I say, than a couple years ago. So I gotta pick the Saints in this one.
All right, moving on to the divisionals for the AFC. We have the Patriots, and we both again picked the Steelers. So Patriots and Steelers, again, really good, really seasoned teams. Tom Brady under center and Ben Roethlisberger under center. Those are really seasoned quarterbacks. They know what's coming up. They've both been to the Super Bowl multiple times. They know what's going to happen, how everything's going to work out. I have a feeling, though, that Tom Brady is going to keep his composure more than Ben Roethlisberger will. Ben Roethlisberger's been dealing this entire season with injuries to his legs, his ankles, and stuff. So I feel like Tom Brady's going to hook up to Wes Welker and Ocho Cinco too many times and possibly hand it off little corner routes to Gronk. And the Patriots are just going to run over the Steelers. Maybe not by some crazy amount again, but I'm going to have to call maybe 2 or 3 touchdowns and a couple field goals in there. And okay, so we're moving on to the Ravens and what I picked as the Bengals. So Ravens and Bengals. I like the Bengals. They're a young team with Dalton under center. He's a good young QB, but I believe that the Ravens, Joe Flacco under center, he has been a little bit iffy throughout the years. He gets to like these bigger games and throws a lot of picks, but I feel like he'll keep his composure enough to the win to go to the next round. So I feel like the Ravens over the Bengals, Patriots over the Steelers.
Okay, so I picked the Steelers. Patriots for Steelers. I think the Steelers are one of the only teams in the AFC that could actually beat the Patriots because their defense is the best in the league by far, and the Patriots' offense is one of the best. So this is going to be a really close game. I think it's going to go down by like a single field goal, maybe even overtime, because this is such a good game. I think this is going to be the best game in the AFC, any AFC playoff game. So I gotta pick the Patriots. Tom Brady, like Cody said, has so many different receivers. Wes Welker has grown to a major star in this season. I don't think they can stop them. Even if you don't throw Wes Welker, like Cody said, you got Ocho Cinco. You have so many different options. You could do a rushing game. You could just do so many different plays with the Patriots offense. Palomino, he could really do good in this game, trying to get some picks and stuff. But I don't think he'll be enough. The Steelers' the offensive line is so unreliable on that team. They're just I think they're just getting sacked. Roethlisberger's gonna get sacked probably a couple times. So I gotta pick the Patriots in this one, and I picked the Texans, and we're gonna be facing Ravens, I should say. So this is Joe Flacco. He was sometimes not so good, sometimes bad passes and stuff. And Yates, the Texans quarterback, third string right there. This could change some stuff, but I gotta pick the Texans in this one. I don't know why. Kind of like a gut feeling. I just think Yates is going to outperform Flacco in this one. Ray Rice is a really good running back, but Texans D is pretty good. And the special teams on the Texans, they're one of the best. They have so many returning yards, I should say, off the kickoffs. Kickoffs could be a really major part in Texans winning this game. So I gotta pick the Texans over the Ravens.
All right, and moving on to the conference championships for the NFC. I picked the Giants to move on overall over the Packers, over the Falcons. I just had that gut feeling. I feel like the Packers, they're going to do really good, but I just feel like the Giants are just going to move on. I don't know why. It's just, again, like you said earlier, maybe just a gut feeling.
Yeah, and the Packers have a bye, so they might be a little rusty.
Yeah, and then I picked the Saints to move on. That's I don't want to be like rude, but that's kind of an obvious choice. I mean, the 49ers might give them a little bit of trouble, but I don't think it'll be anything they can't handle. So we have the Giants and the Saints then moving to the championship for the NFC. It's going to be a really, really good game. It's going to be a battle of the offenses. I think they both have really good defenses, but I feel like the offenses are just going to just keep on scoring and just putting points on the board. It's going to be a very high-scoring game. And I feel like Drew Brees is going to be hooking up with his receivers too much. He's going to be scoring too many touchdowns. Eli Manning, he's going to get it. He's going to keep up, but then eventually Drew Brees is going to have that. He's going to have it and just keep going. And I don't think Eli will be able to catch up. I have a feeling the Saints are going to be returning to the Super Bowl this year.
Okay, so I picked Green Bay versus the Saints right now. Wow, the battle of the offense right here. You cannot beat them. The Packers' offense is just so amazing. They did lose Greg Jennings. That's a major part in their offensive shutdown that I think is going to happen in this game. The Saints' offense is so good. They always could hand it off to a rushing game. They could pick old passing plays in this game, and I think they'll still win. The Packers' defense is so bad at some points, especially versus major teams, major big teams. Their offense always comes back and helps them out, but can you beat a Saints team that's that good? They could beat the Lions, even if the Lions scored like 41, I think, last week. They beat them like 48-41, I think. That was score. That's crazy score right there. No defense in that game at all. But the Saints offense is so good. They're just going to tear apart that defense. I do think it's going to be a really close game, I should say, but Saints have to go over to the Packers, like Cody said.
And like you said earlier, Packers have lost not only Greg Jennings, but they rested Aaron Rodgers for the last game of the regular season. So Rodgers hasn't played in an in-game situation in, I don't know, what is it now, like a week or so. So he's going to be a little rusty by the time they start playing these
Yeah,
games.
it's gonna be
I
like
mean, you
two
could
Sundays.
practice, but it's gonna be rough. I mean, no matter how good you are, you're a professional, whatever. If you haven't played in an in-game situation in a while, it's gonna be you're gonna be a little rusty. I don't care how good you are, you're gonna be a little rusty.
No matter how hard you try in practice, nothing will even compare to the real game situations.
Exactly. You could say that, oh, we played in-game situations, we played scenarios and everything. Doesn't matter. Nothing is gonna actually compare to that regular in-game situation. But anyway, moving on to the conference championship for the AFC, I picked the Patriots and the Ravens, the 1 and 2 seeds, just to move on. I don't feel like anybody's really going to contest these number 1 and 2 seeds. I think it's going to be the Ravens and the Patriots. And like I said, Flacco, if they move on, Flacco's been an on and off quarterback, and I think he'll be throwing a few picks this game. The Patriots safeties and corners are just going to be picking up on him. He doesn't really have very good QB vision. They're just going to pick him up and then pick him off, and then that's going to be it. And then Tom Brady, again, like I said, with Wes Welker, one of the greatest receivers in the game that we have active right now, along with Ocho Cinco and Gronkowski. It's going to be a really good game, but I feel like the Patriots are going to take over the Ravens, and they're bitter rivals, so expect the stadium to be super loud, and that's going to be a very good game if they move on like that. So I have the Patriots winning over the Ravens.
Okay, I picked the Patriots, and I did pick the Texans. So the Patriots versus the Texans. If Texans do make it this far, I don't think Yates will have any other options to do. He's gonna have to face the Patriots. I just don't think it's gonna be an even close game. I kind of have a gut feeling they're gonna beat the Ravens, but comparing stats, I don't know if they have a chance of beating the Ravens. But if they do, Patriots are too good of a team. I don't think it's gonna be that close of a game if the Patriots do face the Texans. So I gotta pick the Patriots kind of easily. I gotta say.
Yeah, it's gonna if the Texans do move on, like you said, third string quarterback against a veteran who's been to the Super Bowl multiple times, won some rings for himself. It's just not gonna be a
Yeah,
competition if
and
the
the Texas
Texans move
team,
on.
they never went to the playoffs before this year. So if the players on the team stay to the Texans their whole career, there's gonna be barely anyone that ever went to the playoffs. So a playoff experience team versus pretty much a new team, pretty much that no one ever went to the playoffs with.
True, true. So now we're moving on to the Super Bowl, the game that ends all games, and I have the Saints and the Patriots. That will be an amazing game if it turns out that way. Whether my previous picks were wrong or not, if the Saints move on and the Patriots move on to the Super Bowl, that will be an amazing game. Two very, very seasoned quarterbacks with great offenses and very good defenses. It's going to be a really, really good game. Either it's going to be a complete blowout where it's like you said in the regular season where it was like 40 something to like 47, but it's going to either be like that or it's going to be by 1 or 2 touchdowns, even maybe a field goal. It's going to be either a very tight game or just an absolute score fest. And the quarterbacks in this game, Drew Brees breaking the yard record, the passing yardage record, and then Tom Brady going to the Super Bowls multiple times, winning rings for himself. Just an overall amazing Hall of Fame caliber quarterback, along with Drew Brees. He's also going to go to the Hall of Fame one day. It's going to be an amazing game, but I'm going to have to pick the Patriots over the Saints here. Patriots have been there too many times. They're not going to let them let another Super Bowl opportunity slip away. Bill Belichick is just not going to let it happen. They're going to win, and it's going to be game.
Okay, I also picked the Saints versus the Patriots. This game, these two teams have the most receiving yards in the whole league. I think they're number 1 and 2. So it's gonna be all passing. I don't think any team's gonna try to rush. Maybe a couple times, but not really. Maybe not even 10 times they're gonna try to rush. This is gonna be all passing, all in the air. The Patriots, if the Saints stop the Patriots long passing, they have a really good chance of winning because the Patriots have pretty much the most long yard plays in the whole NFL. So this game is really, really close. Wait, Cody, who do you say you're going to win?
I have the Patriots over the Saints.
So I kind of do have a gut feeling Patriots will win. It's kind of a complete guess. The battle of the offensive big guys, two best offensive teams in the whole NFL right now. I think they're gonna be squaring off in the biggest showcase ever. It's all offensive game. Defense, I don't think the defense is gonna worry about. Whoever has the best defense, which defense plays the best, I think is gonna win. Because if you stop 1 or 2 possessions, that could be really key in the second half. So I gotta pick the Patriots. There's pretty much no reason at all. It's too close of a game to call, so it's kind of a complete guess. Because every stat you look at, one of them is better than the other by barely any amount. So it's too close. It's one of the closest Super Bowls ever if this really happens. And one of the best offensive teams. So I gotta pick the Patriots over the Saints in the Super Bowl. I don't think Saints will win it like a couple years ago. I just think Tom Brady's he has too many options. Too many really good options.
And like you said, like there's no like statistic like evidence that like somebody's gonna win over the other, because when you look at one statistic for the Patriots, the Saints have either like just a little better or just a little worse. When you look at a statistic for the Saints, the Patriots have just a little better, just a little worse. It's gonna be a very, very like back and forth game. There's not gonna be like a super deciding factor unless all of a sudden either like somebody gets injured or Drew Brees or Tom Brady just breaks down and just totally just completely just fails. It's going to be a very, very close game. So that's all I have to say. I mean,
whichever defense plays better, I think that's the team that's going to win. Because offense, you just got to stop a couple possessions and it's game over pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. The offenses are just too good. If the defenses stop them, that's going to be the deciding factor.
Well, thanks for watching, guys. These are our NFL picks. You guys have any comments or complaints? Which team should not be this far? Which team should go farther? Put it in the comments below, because these are our opinions. We're not like major sports center analysis, so everyone's opinions.
I'll even upload this picture that we're looking at and what you're looking at on screen, and we'll put the link in the description. Maybe you could even fill it out yourself. Maybe send a video response or something. Yeah. And I just have a few questions to leave you guys with and a few little facts about this whole playoff series and just the upcoming drafts and the rest of the season. First off, the Patriots and Packers both have home field advantage in their first games, so that should be a little deciding factor. It's going to be real loud at their stadiums. It's going to be the playoffs. Everybody's going to be going crazy. A few more questions. And you guys have to leave these in the comments, otherwise we're never going to figure out what you guys like or whatever. But these are just football questions as it is. Will the Rams dump Sam Bradford and go for RG3, the Heisman winner, the quarterback? Oh, yeah. And a couple more. Will the Jets coach Rex Ryan still have? He has the biggest balls in football right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Every year he calls the Super Bowl. Every year he guarantees it. And even after the loss to the Jets, where they didn't make the playoffs, he kept saying, if you never go for the Super Bowl, you're never gonna have anything to look forward to. It's never gonna be any good season if you can't call it. So every year he's got some balls. However you want to explain that to me in the comments, go ahead. The Chicago Bears linebacker Brian Urlacher, the injury he sustained is not a torn ACL like most people thought. So that's a little fact for you. And will the Colts keep their coach Caldwell? Will they keep him? What do you guys think? And how do you think Peyton Manning will be in his return?
Do you hear about the new sports center talking about? They're saying they're going to draft. Who's the #1 draft pick? Luck.
Yeah, Luck.
Luck, and cut Peyton Manning. They're talking about cutting Peyton Manning.
Exactly.
I don't see that ever happening unless he's injured for a whole career.
I don't see the Colts getting rid of Peyton Manning.
Unless he can't play for the next 3 years, I don't see that happening. Not even close.
And how do you think he'll be in his return? He hasn't played a game all year, so that's gonna be interesting. And not only that, but the Colts also fired their vice president and general managers, Bill and Chris Polane, however you say it. So it's gonna be, the Colts are just gonna be crazy next year. They have the first pick. That's how bad they did this year. And just again, leave us in the comments if you want us to do any sports expresses on different sports, maybe hockey, baseball, football again, soccer, whatever you guys think, and just let us know in the comments. Just remember just to leave a like or dislike, because I mean, I myself, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a lazy YouTube viewer. Every time somebody says please like or dislike, I always forget and never do it. But I'm reminding you now, please, if you want to see more of these each week or every 2 weeks or whatever, please just leave a like or a dislike to let us know if you guys do enjoy this or don't. Subscribe to Stan Rose above, and my link for my channel will be in the description if you want to see what I'm up to. So if you guys could come subscribe to me, that'd be great as well. And that's it for me, guys.
Yeah, thanks for watching.